It all began on a rainy Tuesday morning that already felt heavier than usual. I had just returned from the grocery store, drenched despite my umbrella, my mood matching the gray clouds above. I was juggling my tote bags, fishing for my keys, when my phone buzzed. It was a message from my cousin Sarah, short and urgent. "Can I call you? It's about Ethan." Ethan was Sarah's younger brother. I hadn't seen him in nearly 6 years. He was just a scrawny, artistic teenager back then, always scribbling in a sketchbook and staying quiet during family gatherings. We were never particularly close, but I remembered his kindness, like the time he drew me a picture of my dog, Daisy, after she passed away. I replied yes, and seconds later, the phone rang. Sarah's voice cracked as she explained the situation. Ethan had gone through a terrible breakup that spiraled into something darker. Isolation, anxiety, and what she described as a complete mental and emotional collapse. Their parents were overseas on a humanitarian trip and unreachable due to poor signal and remote work. Sarah, swamped with a newborn and a demanding job, asked me something I didn't expect. "Could he stay with you for a few weeks? He trusts you. He says he needs quiet and someone who won't ask too many questions." I hesitated. I lived alone, cherished my space, and hadn't been around Ethan in years. But there was something in her voice, desperation mixed with hope. Without fully thinking it through, I said yes. The next day, Ethan arrived at my doorstep with a duffel bag, a worn-out hoodie, and eyes that looked far older than his 25 years. His silence filled the room the moment he stepped in, like a fog. I offered tea. He nodded. We barely spoke that first evening. He sat by the window, sketching in his notebook, while I made dinner and tried not to stare. Over the next few days, our routine became a silent dance. I would wake early, make breakfast for 2 instead of 1, and leave a cup of tea near his door. He rarely joined me at the table but always left the mug empty, a small sign that he was accepting my presence. In the evenings, we'd sit quietly in the living room. Sometimes, I'd read while he sketched. Other times, we watched old movies mostly in silence. It wasn't until the 4th night that something shifted. I had just finished folding laundry when he asked, "Do you ever feel like you're not really living, just existing?" His voice was hoarse, barely audible. I paused, taken aback. "Yes," I admitted. "I used to feel that way a lot." He looked at me then, really looked. "How did you stop?" I wasn't sure how to answer. I think I stopped trying to be okay all the time. I let myself be sad, be angry, be still. And somehow, slowly, life started to feel like mine again. He didn't say anything, but I noticed his shoulders ease slightly. That night, he joined me at the table for dinner. The days that followed were quiet, yet meaningful. Ethan began opening up in fragments, not grand confessions, just scattered pieces of his world. He talked about his ex, Ava, and how she left him for someone else without warning. He spoke of how the breakup unraveled years of suppressed pain from childhood, about never feeling good enough, never being seen. One afternoon, I walked into the living room and found a drawing he'd left on the coffee table. It was a sketch of me, sitting by the window, a gentle smile on my face, tea in hand. Underneath, he had written, "Peace looks like this." I cried quietly in the kitchen that day. Week 2 brought more changes. We started cooking together. He'd chop vegetables while I stirred the soup. We argued over which spice went where and laughed when we ruined a perfectly good lasagna. It felt normal, easy, like we had done this for years. It was strange and beautiful, the way he filled the silence of my house with something warm, not noise, just presence. One night, I woke up to the sound of muffled cries. I found Ethan curled up on the couch, trembling. I didn't ask questions. I just sat beside him and put my hand on his back. Slowly, his breathing calmed. In a broken whisper, he said, "I thought I didn't matter to anyone." "You matter to me," I whispered. "You matter." That moment changed everything. After that night, he began writing again, poems, short thoughts, even a letter he never intended to send to Ava. He let me read some of it. His words were raw, painful, and achingly beautiful. He also started going for walks with me, short ones around the neighborhood, where we'd talk about everything and nothing. I learned that he loved birds, feared failure, and once dreamed of illustrating children's books.